my own fault. I don't blame anybody. Yeah, I had essential tremors, but back then there was no treatment for it. I went back to Burlington to get treated for the essential tremors, and they were gonna drill a hole in my head on my right side because my left side, this was my bad hand. This hand was like this. I couldn't drink. I set the glass down, bend over and suck with a straw. I got cancer. And it was just like, what the heck, man? What the heck? So they're going to drill a hole in my head, like I said, on the right side. And they were going to run a wire down. They put a wire in your brain. They got it to a certain spot in there. They were going to run the wire down behind your ear, along your neck, and then they put a battery in there. And then they decided, well, it's probably not a good idea because I had problem with short-term memory. And a lot of that had to do with my weed consumption, the gummies, because I quit smoking and I wasn't going to smoke weed no more. And so I was eating like anywhere from 100 milligrams to 300 milligrams of gummies every day, basically at night. And I just get whacked out playing video games. I used to love playing video games until recently. And so then they went with this procedure called focus ultrasound. And what that is you've heard of ultrasounds. A lot of people have, when someone's pregnant, they put it on their belly and they check out the baby. That's how I know about it from my two children. And what they do is they do MRIs and they locate the spot in the brain. So in my case, they did the right side because the right side of your brain controls everything on the left side of your body, and the left side controls the right side. Then they can only do one side at a time. So I said, no, I need my left side done. I said, I eat with my left hand, which I had learned how to eat with my right hand, even though that was shaky. But you can see, this was like this, and this is how that was. So I was able to eat anyhow. I had a huge spoon, heavy spoon, and like I said before, drinking through straws. And I was always very self-conscious of it, especially after I quit drinking, because I had no way to hide it no more. And people would walk up to me on the street and say, "Hey, bud, how you doing?" I'd be like this, literally like this. And they're like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just got this medical condition, man." They're like, "You sure you don't need a drink?" I'm like, "I'm positive I don't need a drink." So anyhow, with the ultrasound, they did it. They put you in they put a brace on your head. They shoot you up here and here, inject you with lidocaine, and they do the same in the back, and they put this big bracket around your head. Then they lay you back in the tube, and they got these two metal brackets back there, and that thing around your head clips into the brackets, and they clamp it down so your head is perfectly steady. And then they put this water bladder thing over your head because they have to fill it up with water because the ultrasound has to travel. It doesn't travel through the open air. So it's kind of like a fake skin. I don't know what it is, but they put this bladder around your head, fill up with ice cold water. Then they put this helmet on you. You don't even see it because you're in the tube, and they put this helmet on you, and inside the helmet they got like 1,000 ultrasound lasers. And what they do is they all go to that one point that they pinpoint in your head, and it so if they use a regular laser, it'd burn a hole through your head. So they use like 1,000 of, I don't know how many, I think like 1,000 literally. And that's the reason it's called focus ultrasound. So they can put all these ultrasound things and focus it on one. Probably, he showed me, it was probably the size of, smaller than an eraser, about the half the size of an eraser on a pencil. And then when they focus it, all that energy on that one point, it burns your brain in that spot. And that's what they do. And, excuse me, the only painful part of that was the shots. After the shots went in, I didn't feel anything. That lidocaine stuff, I mean, I didn't feel nothing. And I was in the tube and kind of jumped the gun because I was saved before. We'll get back to that. Like I said, I talk in circles. So they turn it on. First is a high pitch sound in the tube. You know how it is in the MRI tube. You know, it makes all that crazy noise. They get earplugs in, and they got something around your ears to block all the sound. And the first one, there was a buzzing, stinging. I could feel it stinging in my brain. I was like, I go, you ready? I go, we're done with the stinging. He says, it's still hurt? I said, no. I said, only lasted for like a second. Not a problem. I can live with that kind of pain. And then they had another one. It was on deeper hum. They said, now you're going to feel like you're having a huge headache. And they did it, and I could feel it. My head, I felt like I was getting like a bad migraine, but it was back here, not up here. I don't know much about migraines. I've never had them. It's the only thing I could compare it to, I guess. But it only lasted for a couple seconds and it went away. And at that point, I was like, okay, slide me out of the tube. All the doctors, the doctor, and all the nurses were there. And they unhooked me so I could lift my head up, and I still had the brace thing on me. And they held up the piece of paper. They have a spiral. You had to take the pen and trace through the spiral. Well, initially, I just did this. I couldn't even, all I did was black out this whole spiral, And then, so I did the spiral. almost perfectly. I mean, you can see how my hand is now. It's pretty good. So this is also for people that have essential tremors. This is kind of a smorgasbord video, I guess, from a crazy person from Gloucester. I love this town though. Anyhow, they said, well, we got to put you back in for one more. Oh, wait. Then they said, after the spiral, they hand me a bottle of water, plastic water bottle. They said, take it and hold it up to your mouth. And I was like, there's no way this is going to happen. I swear to you, I grabbed the water bottle and went like this. It's a little shaky right now, but before it would bend. you know, the doctor initially said, well, you know, I can probably guarantee you at least 50% improvement. I said, that's fine. If it gets half, that'll be fantastic. And it's like 95 to 90% better. That is no lie. And I was like, oh my God. At this point, I was saved. And I asked God to be there with me and prayed He'd guide the doctors, made sure it was those lasers went right where they're supposed to go. And at this point, I was in tears. I was so emotional. I didn't know what. I just did the spiral perfectly, held the water perfectly. And he said, well, you got to go back in. One more round. I said, really? Yeah, I feel like I did pretty good. Goes, yeah, I know you did fantastic. But we're going to put you back in again. Well, this time they laid me down in the tube. And as they're sliding me in there, I felt the Holy Spirit so strong. And I felt that Jesus himself was in the tube with me the second time I went in. And it was so overwhelming. And I knew it was a success before I even completed it. And through all the wonderful work at Brigham Young Hospital in Boston, God bless everyone up there. Beautiful hospital. And for you people that are hearing this and listening about the essential tremor part, you know somebody, well, there's 19 places across the country that do this. Only 19. But it is available. And if you got good health insurance, you're okay. Me, I have great health insurance because I'm disabled. And Massachusetts, as much as I used to knock the state and everybody talks bad about it, I'll say one good thing about the state, other than it's beautiful. And the town I live in is absolutely gorgeous. I live right on the ocean. It's like 2 blocks away. And pulled me out of the tube, and they said, well, you're probably not going to be able to walk too good because of this. You're going to lose your balance. You'll probably be numb for a while on this side of my mouth. He said, what else did they say? Also, migraine headaches. And they took that bracket off my head, and I was like, good. And they grabbed me two big male nurses grabbed me and stood me up, and they walking me out of the procedure room back into the prep room. They go, "How you doing?" And I said, "I'm fine." "You feel okay?" I said, "Yeah." "I don't feel nothing." I said, "I can walk fine. You don't even have to hold me." And they were like, "Oh my God." I guess apparently a lot of people, their coordination gets bad for a while. And they told me it would when I went home. And it got a little bit uncoordinated on the left side. Kind of leaned to the left a little bit. And so they were amazed. They let me go and they said, "Look at him, he's walking fine." I said, "Can I get out of here now or what?" He just started laughing. The doctor up there that did the procedure, his name is Dr. Cusgrove, and I highly recommend him. He is an incredible man.